She's become a cinematographer. Yes, hi, thank you. We're on. Okay. We're here to entertain you, dance, have fun, sing. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about this amazing psychology of astrology, and that's really what it's about. All of it relates back to the early myths. The early myths are really messages that the unconscious can understand and can visualize, and allows them to communicate deep messages into our souls. If you think about it, it's kind of like fairy tales when we were growing up, and we were told all these different little stories and little nursery rhymes and things like that. They're all messages that can get into the soul. The subconscious relates to pictures more than it does to words. It also relates to music. Chanting is why it's so powerful. The rosary in the Catholic religion. It's a repetition over and over again, and bringing up images of Mary, the Mother of God, and all these different things. All these are motifs that carry a really profound message into the soul of man or woman. And what we're dealing with in these stories is kind of eternal mysteries that are cloaked in so-called myths that the church would rather you don't look at, because the myths are got to be lies, they're not real. But they're all there for to send signals and messages into the unconscious that we can grasp and understand. So when you look at astrology, you're looking at a very profound, ancient hieroglyph, if you would, of symbols. And the more you understand these symbols, you realize how they all tie in together. And so whatever you sow into that soul, the subconscious mind, is going to become fecundated. It's going to become given birth to. And if you put enough of the seed in there, some of it's going to come to manifestation. That's why I said that there's only one unpardonable sin. It's called blasphemy, or cursing the Holy Ghost or your subconscious mind. If you curse yourself, if every time you say he's a pain in the ass, and then you wonder why you got hemorrhoids, you have created that seed in your words into the subconscious. The subconscious will make it being a part of your experience. Every time you say I'm sick and tired, you're going to end up with those particular problems. Every time you say it breaks my heart, you're opening yourself up to heart problems. Every time you say things like I'll breathe, I used to say I'll breathe better when I get on my feet. I never understood why every time I went to bed I had trouble breathing. But when I got up, I didn't. And I didn't even hear myself say those words and understand that I was creating that situation. So we often say things that create both respiratory and other ailments in our body, and we don't understand it. We don't see our connection to that. If you read my book, there's a whole chapter on the power of the word. And I go through many of the physical problems that we experience in life that are associated with the word. I was giving a lecture at a hotel downtown Chicago one day, and I was talking about the need to love others, and how loving others is really loving yourself, because you can't, first of all, love others unless you love yourself. But more importantly, every thought you have directed towards another person is really self-directed, because the subconscious does not distinguish between you and I. It has no understanding of you and I. If I say I will wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning feeling wide awake, alert, and refreshed, and I put that subconscious into my mind, that suggestion, I'll probably wake up at 6 a.m. I may go back to sleep again, but I'll wake up and I'll wonder why I'm waking up at 6 o'clock. The point is that I said I will wake up at 6 a.m. If I said you will wake up at 6 a.m. feeling wide awake, alert, and refreshed, subconscious heard the same thing. So what does it hear when you say, you son of a bitch, I hope you die? Who you've said that to? You thought you were cursing that person, or you're having ill thoughts towards that person, bad thoughts, ill thoughts, and you wonder why you're getting ill. Because you're harboring these bad thoughts. You're wishing death on somebody, you're only wishing it on yourself. Every thought you have and that projection you have towards that other person that you seemingly hate, they don't even know you're having those feelings and those thoughts, and they don't hear them.
Drinking the poison, that's the whole concept, right?
What do you say?
When you
drink your own poison.
Drink your own poison. When you hate someone or you linger around because they hurt you and you're wishing them, it's you drinking your own poison.
I'll say it another way for you. Malice
sucks
up the greater portion of its own venom and poisons itself. Did you know that when you have real hatred towards another person, you emit poisons in your tongue?
Yeah.
You literally do. Did you know that? It's like the serpent that can spit into your eye and blind you. That you actually secrete poisons. If you spit at somebody in a height of anger, you're actually spitting something that's poison.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We still got a bit of the serpent in us, you see that? Okay, and that side of it. Okay. So what you're planting, you're reaping. You sow a thought, you reap an act. You sow an act, you reap a what? A habit. You sow a habit, you reap a character. You sow a character, you reap your destiny. It all starts with that thought process. And this goes from the conscious to the subconscious to the physical form. I was giving a lecture, I was staying in this hotel in Chicago, and a woman, I was talking about loving others, and this woman raised her hand in the front row. Never forget her. She says, Ron, I think that's all great in theory, but I work with this guy in this office, and he just aggravates me to no end. That's how she said it. And the Spirit led me to leave it alone. I said, would you just say it over again? Why I did that, I don't know. But something in me told me. She said, well, I just said I work with this guy in this office, and and she'd grit her teeth, and he just aggravates me to no end. That's how she said it. I said, fine, I'll get to that later. I swear it was so appropriate. So I'm talking about the physical body and how we cause ailments and problems in our own physical form. And all of a sudden her hand goes up. She says, Ron, I've got a problem. She says, maybe you can tell me. Maybe I can get some advice. She says, I've been to all sorts of doctors, internists, experts. I've tried every kind of medication. Nothing helps. And she says, I got this rash from my ankles all the way up to my neck, and I don't know what causes it. I says, does it aggravate you to no end?
So true.
And she got it.
Like because that's the thing. People.
The word is made.
Realize
The
how
word
powerful.
is. The word is made flesh.
Yes, it is. I tell my kids that all the time. I got one kid that's negative Nelly and one that's positive. And I said to Lauren, she just called me and said, Mommy, I won. They did a race at school. She says, I came in first against all the classes, and I even beat the boys. And I said, every day I said, it's so good to be Lauren. Everything you touch turns to gold.
Beautiful.
And I tell my kids all the time, I said, your words are powerful.
Beautiful.
So if you say, I hate something, you're going to attract that back. It's going to create habit.
Yeah.
It's true. Your words are.
See, you belong in this business.
I do.
You belong in this work. You belong
Yeah.
in this business because there are a lot of counselors that are using astrology. You don't always know that, but they are. And a lot of them, there's some knowingly working with it, okay? And it's even becoming a subject in schools and colleges. So, you have a gift for understanding these complex things, and you're really good at articulating them and putting them into words and making them real for people. That's a talent not everybody has, okay? So, you're supposed to be, you're Capricorn. Your field of conscious effort is to define things well, to give definition to things that other people can't define, and to bring them down to the real world, It's like her father. I'm making coffee, and I love to make cappuccino. That's the only coffee I make, and she knows that.
Yeah, delicious.
And I even got a little milk machine that I'd make.
Do you?
Yeah, she got
I
one.
ordered it.
Yeah. You did?
I got her to get it. I said, because I make the best cappuccino.
I was like, how do you do the broth? How do you do that?
Yeah. So, where was I going with that story? I lost my stuff.
Bringing intention and the schooling down to a level that people can understand.
Yeah.
You were gonna tell what my dad thought about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your
Yeah, your dad. Yeah.
Yeah, we're dad. Her dad's a Capricorn. Her mother's a Cancer. They're opposites.
Oh my God, that's my husband and I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cancer.
It's a good relationship.
I
It
know.
can be, because they're complementary.
He goes, I said, I'm going Fabby, we're doing this. And he looked at me and goes, what are you going to find out if we're compatible? And I said, let me save you. No, but yes, we are, even though we're a good match. I said, I'll save you right. I'll save you
Yeah,
that.
that's good. Well, that's her father said this one day. I'm making up because I said to him, "You want some cappuccino?" He said, "Yeah, but don't put air in mine, please."
Air? Yeah.
I mean, that's so
Yeah,
practical.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
logical. So, but to me, the air is what's good.
Yeah,
That's the cappuccino. That's the best part. Exactly.
Yeah, but for him, that's so impractical to do that. Just put milk in my coffee, right? But so anyway, okay. So what we got to understand that when Christ was called the Word made flesh, okay, But what we don't know is we are all the Word made flesh, and we don't see the relationship, and we don't understand how we create and destroy our own lives with the power of the Word. So it's not what goeth in the mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out. It's Scripture. A man who is perfect in speech, listen to Scriptures, is perfect in every way. Oh, can you imagine being perfect? I'm not there yet, okay? I said yes, yeah, I'm still trying. Anyway, so a man who's perfect in speech is perfect in every way. It's not what goeth in your mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out of your mouth, okay? You're accountable for every word that proceedeth out of your mouth. You'll be held accountable for it. How are you accountable? The church would have you believe when you go to heaven, you're going to open up this big book and this is what you're accountable for. No, you're accountable all your life for every word you say. And it has a result in your experience, in your life, in your external and internal world. So we have to understand this, the rational conscious, the emotional subconscious. Remember, the soul, the subconscious, like a good woman, relates to emotion. Feeling. The more you have feeling when you say something, the more power it has. The deeper the seed planted, the higher likely of impregnation in that soul. Okay? So, and it comes forth into the world and we experience it and then we say, what? How did this happen? Why do I have to go through this? What is my experience got to be of pain and suffering when I don't understand? This woman just aggravates her to no end. I used to do lectures in California with a doctor. He's closest friend. He's a chief physician at McDonnell Douglas Space Center, and we used to do lectures called "The Physician and the Metaphysician," and they were great. We were a great team. Okay, he's a Gemini, I'm a Sag. We're even better that way. So anyway, where was I going with that? See what happens when you get
the word.
La Flash and you.
Dr. LaFlash, and we were doing lectures, and what was I going? See what happens when you get up around 80. I shouldn't be saying
No, it's
that.
not 80. Trust me.
Yeah, it's not
It's
one
not.
of those.
I do it all the time because you.
Senior moment.
I do that always.
So, I was going somewhere with. Oh, his wife. I was going to talk about his wife. Yeah, his wife. We found out later, because I hadn't heard from him for years and years after we moved, and found out his wife went to prison for vehicular manslaughter. She killed somebody drinking. She was an alcoholic. But her favorite expression was, I used to go get her daughter, 12-year-old girl, and bring her over to our house to watch her because her mother would be screaming at her. She'd be hiding in the bushes outside. She'd come and get me, please. My mom is crazy. And poor George put up with so much with that woman. But we found out later when we moved here, we found out she went to prison. In fact, his daughter, Jonelle, was in college and she was taking a religion course. And somebody raised up, she was so amazed. Jonelle knew me well. I mean, I was like a father sometimes to her. Somebody in the class raised up my book, said, this is my Bible.
Are you kidding?
Honest to God. The professor said, what book is that? And Jonelle looked over and she thought it was my book. Because that's how much influence the book has had. It's really powerful. It's a message that is maybe the most important single message of what Christianity is really about. I know that sounds big-headed, but it is. It's a revelation, profound one. And in fact, my Karen, Newfoundland, she gave the book to a friend of hers who gave it to her father, who was an Anglican priest, Anglican priest. And she says he's so amazed about it. He hasn't put it down all week and he's been reading it. The book will change your life. You read it cover to cover. Okay, it really will. Because it embodies more than this, a lot more, the deeper mysteries. Anyway, enough of that, bragging on the book.
I have it.
Okay.
Can't wait.
So, yeah, if you need one there. So anyway, so you read that's the word. I was talking about his wife. Her favorite expression: I can't stand this. I can't stand that. I can't stand this. She ended up in the hospital with varicose veins so bad in her legs she couldn't stand anymore. I said to her,
happens?
I told her, I said, do you hear what you say? Another guy, a friend of mine, he was a good public speaker, but he would be talking and he'd keep saying, it blows my mind, it blows my mind. I said, don't say that. He ended up with a stroke.
Oh my God.
I said to him, you've been telling yourself it blows your mind. You finally did it. But you don't see the relationship.
I manifested a cyst the other day. I had a hysterectomy when I was 30, and I used to get them every 2 weeks faithfully. And because it's almost like the universe doesn't even hear no, it just hears it and you attract it.
Yeah.
The 2 times, I don't even want to say it again, but I mentioned to someone how, oh, it's the best thing I ever did. I haven't had one in a while. And I said, watch, I'm going to get one now.
And you
3
said
days
that?
later.
And you
Yep.
said that.
And I said it. 3 days
Watch,
later,
I'm going
I
to
went.
get one now. Look what you said to yourself.
And that's what I said. And I was like, I don't think
The
I'll-
word is made
The word
flesh.
is. And I kind of even knew just by telling the story, and then boom, and I
See.
just got over it. I don't want another one. I'm good. I learned my lesson.
But listen
But
to
yeah.
listen to this, what it says about that in the Bible, about Christ. The word is made flesh, but he grew in grace and in truth. See, in grace and truth. Grace means unmerited favor. Means you didn't deserve it, but you got it anyway. You know, people say, "Oh, Ron, you're so blessed with such a beautiful wife. You got this." And that. I said, "No." They'll say you're so lucky. I said, "No, I'm not lucky. I'm blessed."
Blessed,
There's
yeah.
a big difference
Huge.
between luck and blessed. You know, and so that's how I see my life. I'm so blessed. You know, blessed with people like you in my life. You, thanks for bringing her
Ditto.
into my life. You know, to me,
Ditto.
that's what it's all
Ditto.
about. You know. So anyway, so the mind, the heart, the will, okay, the 5 senses, the instincts, the feelings. That's why women are more in touch with their instincts and their feelings. They should follow those feelings. They should listen to them better. Men don't have as attunement to that as well as women do. That's why women sometimes, you know, about a guy, they say, I just don't feel there's something about him. I don't, and they ignore it and they get in a lot of trouble because
Yep.
they don't pay attention. Okay?
That's right.
So, listen to what, if you doubt this is true about this, the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, and Son. Listen, for the 3 that bear witness in heaven. The heaven's within. It's not up there. It says, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these 3 are one. The Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. The Word is what you speak. The Father is the conscious mind. The Holy Ghost is subconscious. Listen to what Mary says. Mary said, my soul, now listen, if they didn't know the difference back then, my soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit rejoiceth in God. Wow. Tell me they didn't know the psychology, and they weren't talking about this? They knew, she knew, Mary knew. What does the soul do? It magnifies. If you look at the symbol, it looks like a magnifying glass of the soul. It's the receptive subconscious. And it does magnify because what you plant, it gives birth to. It gives magnification to. Okay, and so that's Mary talking, the mother of God. I mean, for the word is quicker and more powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit. Wow, they understood that even the word can cut asunder that soul and that spirit. I was in prison and I was going through some changes. A good friend of mine, Larry, he was a card sharp. He could stack a deck in front of you all day and you never know. And I always win because I was on his left side and I was last deal. And we'd rip people off by the cartons of
Hey, you want
cigarettes.
to go to the casino?
Right?
Oh, he was amazing, and he would spend hours and hours in front of a mirror
Practicing.
He'd get it down good, and he was good, and then he worked in the inmate store, and I was working on the prison newspaper, so I had access to a lot of mobility, and we used to rip the store off of thousands of dollars worth of cigarettes. We'd rip them off and get them out of there, and I was his partner in vice, you know. And all of a sudden, I'm going through changes. I went through a period of 2 weeks where I didn't eat. I didn't eat food. I didn't want it. If I ate it, it tastes like ashes in my mouth. And I was going through these changes, and I wasn't sleeping. The first night, I thought I was laying awake all night. And the second night, I noticed that I wasn't tossing and turning all night. I was just laying there. And I noticed I wouldn't be tired the next day. But the third night, I began to realize I woke up. In the frontal lobe of my brain,
An awakening.
and it woke up. It was like that never slept. And all of a sudden, I'm experiencing these things, and I didn't want food. I drank tea and honey. That's all I had. Constant Comet, my favorite tea back then. I used to still have it here. So I'm. One day they have cherry tarts on the menu, and I thought, geez, cherry tarts. Never saw that on the menu before. I think I'll go get one. I'll have one of those. So I go and I sit down with Larry, and we sit on this is a four chair kind of table. Things come out, we sit down, and he's off to my right, and I take some of the cherry tart, and I take a bite of the crust. It tastes like burned ashes in my mouth.
Oh, shit.
And I said, I can't eat this.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, But later I read the books about Kundalini,
Yeah.
and they talk about that experience exactly
Burnt
same.
ashes.
Burnt ashes. And so I take the tart and I give it to Larry. I said, Larry, I really don't want this, you know. I said, go ahead and have that. And he looks at me, and he's Capricorn, by the way. And he could look you in a cold stare that would lock you, just look, send chill through you. And he locks eyes with me, and he starts staring at me, and he says, yeah, Watson, you get religion. That's going to do you a lot of fucking good in here. He said, you get religion. You see where it gets you. Why don't you study law? You might get out of this damn place instead of that damn Bible and all that stuff, you know?
That's what's saving you.
Well, he didn't know. I didn't know how much,
Yeah.
but and I'm looking at him square in the face, looking locked eyes with him, and we're looking at each other, and he can look me down.
Yeah.
He's got this cold stare of that Capricorn, and he can do it.
My kids know when they're in trouble.
Yeah, you got it. you got
Little mine, right?
expressive
Big
eyes.
And, yeah. Yeah.
So Larry's staring at me, and we're staring at each other. And all of a sudden, he grabs his chest and he falls into his tray. He looks up, and his face is beat red. He said, "Oh my God, Ron! I think I just had a heart attack." And I was not thinking. When I was looking at him, I was looking with love. I was thinking, "I wish you understood." I wasn't thinking offensive, defensive, or anything. I was just thinking, "I love you, Larry," you know, with love. And I didn't associate it with me even. That's how innocent of anything I was. And that night I went to my cell, and Cliff locked next door to me, Cliff and Larry on one side. We had our little clique there. And Cliff says to me, "Ron, what'd you do to Larry today?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Well, Larry says you put a whammy on him. He's been hurting all day."
No.
And I said, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about." Honestly didn't, you know. So then Larry comes in, and he had to wait for the guard to open his door because he worked in the inmate store. And he always worked late because people have to get to the store after they get off work. So he comes in late, and he's waiting for the guard to come, and he's standing in front of my cell waiting for the guard, and he looks over at me. He says, "Ron," he says, "I don't know what you did to me today," but he says, "It still hurts." And I started to open my mouth, and when I was in this state, I would say things that didn't come out of me, they came out of me. Never thought of them, not words I thought. And I'm saying to him, I hear myself speaking to him with authority now. "Larry, the spirit is sharper than a two-edged sword, and you impaled yourself upon it." I couldn't have thought that up. But that's scripture even, you know, the spirit.
You know what? It's funny. I was thinking this probably a couple weeks ago because I've been meditating now for a couple years. And I was like, you know, it's no wonder to me that people who are in jail find God because you have a lot of time in solitude. And it's only in the solitude when you quiet everything that you're able to. You were probably channeling.
Yeah.
Channel, learn, awaken
and
your
meditate.
Kundalini, meditate. You know what I mean? All of that.
Yeah, it was a monastery for me.
Totally.
You're so right.
Yeah.
When I went into prison, I was given some psychological studies, and they were incomplete sentences. I never forgot what I wrote for 3 of them. One was you were supposed to fill in whatever came to mind.
Yeah.
One was this place, one was my father, and one was a mother. I never forgot what I wrote for those 3. I wrote this place. Now get this. Here's a guy destitute of any moral bearings at all, totally lost soul. I write, after this place reminds me of the monastery. Then, that's not all. Then I write, my father, is dead, because I never knew my real father. And I was told, whether it's true or not, I think it could have been just an affair, but that he got killed and all this stuff. But anyway, then I wrote a mother. My mother was married 9 times, didn't raise us, couldn't be a good mother. I wrote, a mother is a woman who suffers from the fruits of her pleasure.
You're a poet.
I know.
But even back then, I could tell you so many stories like this.
Wow. How
Like-
old were you?
My early 30s.
30s.
Well, no, when I got out, I was in my...
How old were you? So you were in there 10 years, 9 years?
Yeah, I got out
But
in
think
80.
about that. You were young. I don't know what 21-year-old.
I was about 23, I
23.
believe.
But you still 23.
Yeah, 23. I got out at about 32, 33.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, so, but these, and during this time, there are many other miracles happened to me. I don't usually tell this to other people, but one was, I went outside one day, like I wouldn't be sleeping, and cellmates, my guys next door to me always had trouble getting me up in the morning. It was always hard to get up, and they always keep on me until I got out of bed. And every morning they'd say, Ron, I said, I'm up, because I never slept. I never slept.
Mm.
The guards made their rounds all night. I could see each one of them every time they came by, every hour. And it was raining in January, which is in January in Jackson, Michigan. It's usually snowing in January. But it was raining a lot. And the next morning I went outside, and as I came out, it was pouring rain. And for some reason, I don't even know why I did it, I said, Lord, as a witness to me, cause this rain to cease. It stopped just like this. And I hear a high pitched sound in my ears, very high frequency.
Oh, I get it. I know. Yeah.
You did? This gal's
yeah.
too much.
She
for me.
does. She's
Yeah.
It was the high frequency they use in. I didn't until I came out of prison, and I was in one of those Sharper Image stores, and they got a little humidifier, and they said it didn't work with heat. I said, how does that work? Ultrasound. I said, really? That breaks that water up into those little bits and makes a fog? That's what happened. It turned to fog instant. And I heard that sound, that high-pitched sound, and now I know. I didn't know then. Many years later, I realized it was ultrasound. And it stopped the rain instantly. And it happened, and I was excited. And I came back. I was on a clinic test, by the way, Park Davis. We used to volunteer ourselves for petty amounts of money, $20, $30 a month, for some silly experiment on our bodies. And I was taking something. To this day, I'd like to know what it was.
Was it the
Get this.
DZM or DTZ?
Yeah,
Yes.
but this is back in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, what am I taking? I don't know.
Sure.
And I asked the doctor, because I wouldn't talk to him about this. I said, you know what's happening to me? I don't need sleep, I don't need food, and I'm not only that, things are happening, miracles are happening.
Exactly.
And so to this day, I don't know if it was anything I was taking or not, but I know they were doing some big testing on me. They were testing my EEGs, my ECC, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, they were doing it all blood. You know, they were really watching me. You know, and I was on one of these. I was always on something. Upjohn was there. Park Davis. This was a Park Davis clinic study. You could volunteer for all sorts of stuff. They'd infect you with a cold, and then they would.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, I went through a lot just to. For a little bit of cash, you know, it is silly stuff, you know. You subject yourself to life and death things in there, you know. So anyway, so where am I at? So I go out the next day, and it's raining again. And I was up all night. I didn't sleep, and I could see it was raining. And it didn't rain though that night. And then the next day I walk out. As soon as I walk out, it starts raining again. And again I say, Lord, as a witness to me, cause this rain to see. Bam! It does it again. Now I'm excited. I said, this is not a coincidence. So I run back in and I tell Larry, look at my jacket, it's all wet. But I said, look outside, it's not raining now. I said, I did it again. He said, Larry's thinking I'm crazy. I said, look, it happened. So the third day I go out and it's raining, and it would start the next time I go outside. Pouring rain, and they don't let you out when it's foggy. But that rain, every time I asked it to stop, it would turn to instant fog. It was like instant, like that. I mean, it was amazing. And they don't let you out out in the yard again when it's foggy inside a 57 square acre walled-in prison.
They can't see you.
They can't see you, so they don't let you out, but they already let us out. And I'm stopping, and I said, Lord, so the third time I said, Lord, as a witness, additional witness to me, cause this rain to cease for 24 hours. That's when it stopped for 24 hours. It didn't start till the next day I walked out. And then my ego got involved in this. And Percy,
yeah. Because it is an ego thing.
It is a big ego.
But it's not even you. You're channeling.
You got it.
Yeah.
But Percy, my black teacher, he was got me into astrology. Percy was amazing. He was born. I just found out the other day when he died, 1996. I didn't know. In Detroit. And I saw his wife's name, Josephine. But when he was in prison, he got me on the path. He did charts, and he started telling me. He told me about this friend of mine that she was 17 years old, had a baby. He said the mother of the child's going to die within 6 days, and I thought the baby was premature. It was going to die, and the mother died. Asthma attack. Story after story. But Percy. I would go to Percy, tell him his stories. Percy said he looked at me with flaming, raging eyes. And looked at me and said, "Yeah, Watson, you stopped the rain. You're like Moses. He smote the rock and he brought forth water." And he said, Moses did that. He said, "You'll never see the promised land. Neither did Moses, because you think it's you." He said, "You better get your head on right." He scolded me severely, and I realized where I was
You
going.
don't know until you know.
Well, I got a good lesson, didn't
But
I?
you did, yeah.
You sure did.
Yeah.
So he was like flaming fire at me, you know.
Because that's the thing, because it is ego and it's buying your shadows at you. Anyway,
Well, what happened that made it so egotistic was they have a theater in there inside the prison. It's a regular theater, like a movie theater.
maybe
And
that's
we're,
where we're going.
and we're coming out.
Right, meditate.
Yeah, you should go there.
I'm gonna get my code.
You can meditate,
Going up.
go to the movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, they feed you 3 squares a day.
That's
You know
right.
what else you
Healthcare. I'm good.
do?
You know?
I'll go.
Yeah.
It's not the same world today. It's surviving.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to
I'm
prison.
teasing. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, after I was in a few of them. I was in Texas, I was in Michigan, I was in Ohio, and then New York came after me finally, and they finally let me go. They said, "Ron, don't do it again. There was
Yeah.
armed robberies, don't work here."
Yeah.
So, but anyway, where was I? Say, here I get it.
Ego and getting a whooping on thinking it was you, and you said
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
movies.
yeah. I'm coming out of the theater that
Movies,
night,
yeah.
and everybody's backed up at the doors because it's pouring rain. And everybody by now, it's a small world, 57 square gigs, 5,000 men. Once something happens, everybody in the world
Yeah.
knows. It goes around like this. It's the same with bad rumors.
Oh no!
It's the same
They
with
all knew
rumors.
that you were stopping it.
You got it. Where's Watson?
Yeah.
Where's Watson?
Oh!
I'm the hero of the day. I walk out there, Lord is with me, cause this rain to cease. Bam, 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 it stops. Everybody's, yay, Watson, yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, now my ego's really big, right? That's when he's got on my case after that. Percy got re-scolded me like I would never been scolded. But I mean, that's really good for the ego, isn't it? So anyway, I was the hero of the day. But I tell you these stories not to, you know, things happen. You know, we're in an amazing world in here. We have no idea, we have no concept of what that power within us and how it can be manifest in so many ways. And, you know, I was privileged to have a lot of experiences that opened my eyes, literally and figuratively. And let me go back to this, and I get so sidetracked, you'd never know that I was giving a lecture.